That's it. That's where I was during the Super Bowl. On this street. For about 10 days, there's a big black widow spider on the, and a very light olive, and it's a cottage door. It's a very special door that you would see on tiny houses. It has like 6 little square windows at the top. I know it's called a cottage door because I looked into different types of doors. That's how much of my own intel I had to do on my own. Because how many people know about doors unless they're like in real estate or looking to buy? A similar door at 817 here, they too have a cottage door. They're very popular, these doors. But they might be marked doors. Do you see what I mean? They're part of the cottage industry. In fact, their son, I don't feel good all of a sudden, we're by a dentist. Their son used to live in what was called the cottages, as did another client of mine before I met that client. And they were on the northwest corner of Lombard and 19th. Now what's there, and this is like a development thing, you know, are these multi-million-dollar homes that are in a cluster. They have their own driveway and carport and so forth and so on.
Yeah, retirement is forthcoming. What's up, buddy? What's up? How you doing? Where you moving?
So
Yeah.
So that guy just showed me someone who could be a gang stalker, and you would wonder like, wow, I have a master's degree and I can't figure out how to buy a house, and yet we have people who crawled out of the drug den and they're buying a house. Now the thing is, I'm afraid to offend people who wound up coping in life a certain way, because I know life is hard and people find different ways to cope, and not everybody has the opportunity to go on to school and stuff like that. But gang stalkers will make you feel like a loser. We just bought a house, we put an extension on, we also got picked up a Range Rover. We're taking a big trip, you know, around the United States for 4 months. And you would wonder like, how do they afford it? That's a little bit like what gang stalkerism is. There's a million different tactics of gang stalkers, but they will make you believe that they have a whole bunch of money and they're getting their, you know, travel around the world for 6 weeks. And you're like, wonder how they afford it. So anyway, Canada Dry here at Foster's. There's a whole story with Canada Dry, and my whole experience put me on a very clean food path, if you will. And that involved like coming off of, say, sodas like Canada Dry and Diet Canada Dry. There's a whole story with that. In fact, check out my video on Philadelphia Walks PTSD called Canada Dry. All you have to do is Philadelphia Walks PTSD and Canada Dry, and it'll show up. I might have downloaded it to my channel now also. Really burnt orange, pretty Lexus. Hanging out here, getting a delivery. Right, 1010, right. So I've walked dogs at 1010, so. But see how the delivery pulled up right to 1010 as I pulled up, and I've walked these dogs since returning. We'll go down here, and I've done some overnights. They were really nice. And what I really appreciated is a higher rate, and also people being really generous. I think they know that I was tortured to death, so a new group of people had to come in to fix everything. So all the cheap, tawdry people who think they're high-level spies but work at stupid law firms and stuff, and they're just like paper pushers. They're not spies at all. They're just every other loser schloozer in America, but spoiled enough to have been able to go to University of Pennsylvania and look like they have a lot of money. But look at all these people. They all live in these houses. How do they do it? What do they do? Where does everybody work? Where are all the jobs? Just curious. Because in a city like this, it's never ending. There are so many people. It's like, well, they can't all work at Comcast. There's some hospitals, but it's like, how much do you really make, you know? I guess they all had a head start and they didn't have to come from behind. So, this is Kimball Street. So we have new development over here. I thought about putting my car birds out. I do two things. I walk dogs, but I also assess communities for bank stalking, basically. But I use different words. Go this way. Because no one loves that word. But it's for psyops against the common man. Activity that seems overly timed and orchestrated, and how many people are actually aware of it, and how many people are totally clueless. So it can feel like the Truman Show. I've had several instances that are really clear, like ran into someone at Starbucks years ago, and as soon as she started talking, it felt like an advertisement was about to be aired or filmed. And I don't know if she did that on purpose. Her name was Kristen. I met her at yoga with a K. And she's like, hey, how are you? I just got my yoga certification, so I'm going to start teaching yoga. Don't you just love these caramel brulees? Here at Starbucks on 18th and Spruce. Open from 5:30 to 9 p.m. Monday through Friday. You know, and it got really weird, and I was like, that is whack. She could play into it by sounding a certain way and then adding information that's like ridiculous for a conversation. And it sounds more like an ad. Or it's possible that she's so caught up in her brain waves of whoever handles her world that she didn't even know that she looked like a commercial and sounded like a commercial. Some people call it life in cartoon motion. There was Mika, that artist long time ago, who came out with that album. Life in Cartoon Motion was one of the songs. He had a very unique sound. I have one song running through my head, but I can't remember the name of it. But Mika. But anyway, this is a show house here. We already passed by this house, and if I were to have a handler, she would say, whoa, that is as showy as it gets by their actions, because we have to show that we're we're all getting ready, we're piling the kids. It's hard to explain. You would see the difference between people behaving normally and it being more of a projected show. You can really see it on them, is what has been said. So, all right. So I'll look for. So I'm trying to remember which houses have cats and dogs, and sometimes it's really obvious. We have brand new development over here. They're very uniform townhomes and incredibly expensive. And then the old school homes over here. Some have been redone and stuff like that. And there's a big argument, which home would you prefer? I don't know. A lot of the new homes have the ring cams that talk to you or make sounds. So sometimes older homes can have a more what do I want to call it? Cozy feeling, and sometimes the newer modern homes might not feel that cozy, at least at first, but once you get your stuff in there, it's possible.